Greetings, brothers and sisters, and welcome to Tuesday of Holy Week. This Tuesday, we will look at the theme of, but if it dies, and Jesus in John 12 talks about how if a kernel of wheat goes into the ground and dies, it can bear much fruit. And we'll see him talk about that in this story. As we observe Holy Week and think about the passion of Christ, we consider this great hymn, When I Survey the Wondrous Cross. The whole Holy Week focuses on the passion and focuses on leading up to the crucifixion and burial of Jesus. And Jesus takes time in this week to explain. He talks a lot to his disciples and a lot to the crowds about what is about to happen, about why he must go through what he has to go through. And so this is part of that. He's explaining how his death will in fact produce a yield of incredible fruit and an incredible crop of new life. And what we're going to see here is that through the cross, Jesus defeated the evil one and became the source of life and salvation to all humankind. We will see that he, by his death, is going to defeat the evil one, and by his resurrection will become life and salvation for everyone. So let's look at this story. I'm not going to read all 16 verses, but I'll pick it up. So Philip has brought some people to talk to Jesus, and that's who he's answering. He answered them, "The hour has come for the Son of Man to be glorified. Truly, truly, I say to you, unless a grain of wheat falls into the earth and dies, it remains alone. But if it dies, it bears much fruit. Whoever loves his life loses it, and whoever hates his life in this world will keep it for eternal life." So that you see the image that he's using here, using the image of a crop, that if you're just holding a kernel of wheat or a seed of wheat, it's not going to do anything. It has to be buried like a body when it's dead. And then it can produce a great crop. It can produce much fruit, as he says. And he compares this immediately then to life, that it is in fact his own death that he's talking about here, and the harvest is eternal life. He continues a little bit later on talking about the effect of this. He says, "Now is the judgment of this world. Now will the ruler of this world be cast out, and I, when I am lifted up from the earth, will draw all people to myself." And John, just to clarify, says, he said this to show what kind of death he was going to die. And so you see here Jesus saying, this is the moment, the time has come, and my actions, what I'm about to do, is going to defeat the evil one. It's going to cast out the ruler of this world. He's going to be done. He's going to be defeated. He's going to be finished. But it's going to happen when I am lifted up from the earth. And it might sound like lifting him up is a sort of like glorifying or praising, but John indicates to us here, it was the cross, that he is lifted up on the cross, that in that cross, in his suffering and his death, is victory over the evil one, and that will draw all people to himself. And he finishes up, he says, "So the crowd answered him, 'We've heard from the law that the Christ remains forever. How can you say that the Son of Man must be lifted up? Who is this Son of Man?'" So just pause. They understood exactly what he meant. They understood that he meant he was going away, that he would be killed. Because how are you going to leave? How are you going to be lifted up and still also be the Christ? Who's the Son of Man? What are you talking about? Jesus said to them, "The light is among you for a little while longer. Walk while you have the light, lest darkness overtake you. The one who walks in darkness does not know where he is going. While you have the light, believe in the light, that you may become sons of light." When Jesus has said these things, he departed and hid himself from them. How's that for just like a straight answer? They're like, "Who is the Son of Man?" He's like, "The light is among you for a little while longer." It sounds a little bit like philosophical, but Jesus has spoken this way all throughout John. He's been quite clear that when he's talking about the light being among the world, he's talking about himself, that he is the light of the world, that he has come to dispel the darkness. And he's urging them, believe while you have me here, while salvation is available, while the light is in the world, believe that you can become sons of light, that you can enter God's kingdom and God's family. And then then he leaves. He hides himself from them. And this is the last time that he speaks to the crowds in this in the Gospel of John. Everything else he does is really focused on his disciples after this, when we get into John 13. So take this away with you, brothers and sisters. Heed the command of Christ. Walk in the light of Christ. Walk in the light of Christ. Do not walk in darkness. Do not just do, whatever, looking around you and whatever you find, whatever you feel like doing. The light of Christ has come. The light of heaven has shone upon us, friends. And this week, this Holy Week, let us walk in his light. Let us consider what he did and who he is, that we truly may become sons and daughters of the light. So walk in the light of Christ.